Trap Red with good morning. It's not even 7 o'clock kind of video. What's up, Ted? Figured I'd make a video directed to you, my Uncle Ted. You know, I got this real bone to pick, this contention, not with you, with, you know, what's going on. Happy hunting from California. Don't let that bowstring snap you in the eyeball. You know, and that's no joke. There was this guy named Jack Amphlett, One-Eyed Jack. He was pitcher on a baseball team. American. First it was Little League, the Masons, and then later on it was the American Legion in Babe Ruth. He was on both teams. Lucky for me, I had to catch him. He wore a hole in my hand. Not to mention hit me in the mug, right here in the freaking eyeball with a baseball. Curveball, supposedly. It didn't break. Instead it smashed me in the mug. And with that I quit baseball. Thanks, Jack. I think it was his grandpa who owned Jack's archery and bow or something like this. Sporting's Good. He had Jack's Sporting's Good in Hornell. And he used to have, you know, Browning and Fred Bear bows hanging in the window. Us kids go by, and you know how kids are. I'm in 5th grade, 10 years old, not even 11 yet. And, you know, everybody's talking up a storm. When I get XYZ, I'm going to put it together and, you know, get one of these bows. I'm going to shoot a deer, all this kind of stuff, you know. And that was the day of the Fred Bear. In the days of Fred Bear, the myth, the legend, the man, the money. You know, and that he came from Michigan. I don't know Fred's total story, but I know parts of it. He's an inspiration to many, many children across our nation. And he was an Orwellian figure because he came out of that era, that Hitler, World War II, Nazi Germany, you know, everything was blowing up bigger than life kind of era. And I, in review now, some 50 some years later, I recognized that a lot of that Fred Bear image was Hollywood, was militarily created, you know, for a purpose, for an agenda, which, you know, we bought into hook, line, and sinker, but I don't think it was a bad thing. I think it was a good thing in many forms, because it taught discipline, it taught marksmanship, it taught archery, it taught work ethic, it taught just all these different qualities that went into making us up who we are. And then I listened to, you know, your dissertation, Ted's dissertation, with his amigo at the NRA, and I realized there's something going on here. There's a clique of insiders who think they know everything, or maybe they do know everything because they're connected, you know, to the CIA and different people and associations, police officers, unions, and firemen, and military, and, you know, insiders. The people that draw the cartoons, the King Syndicate. You know, and I realized, okay, so, you know, they're hunting on the king's land, you know, and they're enjoying the riches and the booty of kingship, royalty. But is that to say they actually deserve it, or did they acquire it through hook and crook, you know? You know, to self-pout yourself over righteousness and work ethic and getting up early. I get up early too, but I don't do much. unlike you, Ted, I'm the guy that sits here and smokes weed and talks about a lot of stuff. Because, you know, I'm like Alex Jones, but without the acting rage. I actually go out on the town and rage out, you know, when necessary, to keep the law and order, to keep the peace, to show them who the fucking sheriff is, who is the badass, you know? Like, you know, you got a badge and a gun, but I don't, and I don't need it. I got a bow and an arrow. And there's two kinds of arrows, two kinds. Arrows in this world, Ted. Two kinds of arrows in this world, Ted. Crooked arrows and straight arrows. I like to think I'm a straight arrow. Of course, we look at ourselves through dark glasses. Now, later, we see clearly. It's biblical, you know. Good hunting. Sorry to hear you got tangled up with some fishing game. I pointed out back then, it was probably about the time that was going on, and they weren't in an amusing mood, that their initials, fish and game, spelled fag. And then shortly thereafter, not only did they come out and roll out the Bobcat Protection Act 2012-13, AB 1213, but also they changed their name to the Department of Fish and Wildlife. Cool. Straight. Anyway. I hear they got blue pigs. I was thinking about getting another hunting license and getting my, you know, pig tag, $22. It's a lot of pork. You can get a 500-pound boar hog or something. I wouldn't want to take a sow only simply because, you know, they're the reason for keeping it going. But I don't want to get a blue pig either. They're not good eating. So I don't know if they even have any pigs that are not contaminated around here. There's such a contamination problem, and most of those pigs that run in the Santa Ana River have access to those golf courses, and I hear that's how they get the blue fat, is by eating the decon. Pigs eat decon and it doesn't kill them because they're so disgusting. Their digestive system can digest that arsenic, I guess. I don't know. It'll kill a dog better than a doornail. I know Scooby committed suicide with decon. That was years and years and years ago now. Anyway, well, I'm just rambling this morning because I don't have anything much to talk about except what's going on in the foggy brains of the media. They actually think they can distort people's viewpoints to First and Second Amendment rights. And I try to tell people, man, First and Second Amendment rights is about being who you are. Defending who you are. Just like you said. It's not written, doesn't have to be written in the Constitution. It's written right here. Right about here. Can you see that, Ted? It's written right about here. Or here. Yeah, right about here. I started shooting archery when I was 11. About the same time I got drawn into Boy Scouts. So I was a tenderfoot in Boy Scouts, and I had the uniform. Dad took me down to the men's shop, and it was all official, you know. It was just so, let's talk about Ed, because it's all about Ed. It's not about me. This story's about Ed. So Ed takes me down to the men's store in downtown Houma. You know, we go in there, and it's like, what does the kid need to get started? Well, he needs one of these, he needs one of those, he needs a neckerchief clasp, he needs the shirt, the pants, belt. Is that it? Yeah, that's about it for now. And this tenderfoot Boy Scout man, here you go. How much is that? You know, back in the old days when they had a push button. Clink, 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 clink. Well, that comes to, you know, umpteen $30. Chink. You know, old man forks it out so I can play. You know, that's what my old man was about. He was about making sure my sister had enough to be called a prima donna. That, you know, my brothers didn't go naked or hungry, that they're all well dressed little gangsters in fedoras, something like that. And that's, you know, the household I grew up in back in the 50s and the early 60s. 6 Frawley Drive, Little Brown House in Beeville, where you can be all you can be if you want to be. But you got to get up early, about 4 in the morning. Right, Ted? Learn to shoot those bullseyes. So that's what I did. I went down to track back at a Hornell High School. Can't remember the name of the fellow that was running the youth group. See, you hear about all this stuff by hanging out at the gun stores. So I had 2 places I always visited: Jack's Sporting Goods and Scott's Gun Store. Scott's Gun Store was where the real hunters hung out. The trappers, the fishermen, and all the lie swappers, and beer drinkers, and whiskey chasers, and everybody dropped into Scott's. The Scots were the friendliest telegraph people in the world. Man, he told Scots and they got out. They knew everything. Shit. My brother and I used to go in there. It's like we were not only novel collectors of Mad magazines and Spy vs. Spy and aficionados of military hardware, in particular Air Force and Navy stuff, and wearers of Army uniforms. But, you know, we had toy guns and real guns too. I had got my first gun at 13. When I turned 13, my grandma, she bought me this Ithaca single shotgun, 12 gauge, breech break, and that was my first gun. Still around somewhere, I don't know where. One of my cousins or distant third cousins or something's got it. Don't know. Do not know. Same thing with my 22 that my Uncle Dick gave me. The 32 Winchester got stolen. The Legacy rifle, low serial number, 1904, got stolen. Sucks. By tweakers. Got stolen with my little red Predator PV guitar that was signed by Robbie Krieger right in front of me. Robbie signed it. I was on the other stage of the backstage window looking through the crack as he signed it. He's like staring at me. He's like, Jim? I go, no, I ain't Jim. Sign that shit, will you? Come on, man. And